Now let us learn about vacuole. So before seeing the structure of vacuole and more details about vacuole, let us see one activity first. Let us conduct one small activity on vacuole. So what is the aim of this activity? To observe vacuoles. Aim is to observe vacuole in cactus stem. We should take any succulent plant and stem of that, or any leaf or stem of succulent plant. So we took cactus stem here. So apparatus is nothing but materials which are required. So cactus plant stem, then slide, cover slip, microscope, then saffronin solution. Saffronin solution are used for staining it or coloring it. So saffronin solution, first what you have to take a stem, cactus stem, and take the transverse section of this, cut like this. So if you cut like this is transverse section. If you cut like this, it is longitudinal section. So cut this in a transverse section. So cut the stem part in a transverse section, a small thin piece, and keep it on a slide. So this is a slide. So I already told you, slide is a small rectangular thin glass material. On this, what you have to do? You have to place a stem, transverse section, small thin stem here. On this stem, add some saffronin solution. Why we are adding saffronin solution? To color it, to stain it. So if you color it, then the inside organelles, they will be taking this color, stained with the color, and the inside organelles can be seen colorfully, or it can be easily visible for us. So that is the main intention in staining with different colors. So here we are adding saffronin solution for staining it. If you have added more color, then gently you wash it with water. Then place cover slip here. This is a small square transparent piece. So why we are placing this cover slip? To avoid the contact of microscope with the stem. So this is the microscope. So if you are not placing cover slip here, not covering the material which we want to see, if you are not covering with the slide, then this stem part will go and attach here. So we'll get disturbance with our experiment. So for that, what we are doing is we are covering it. Now, observe under microscope. Let us see the observation. What do you observe? We observe that in a cell, some empty spaces are present, and these empty spaces are filled with the fluid and covered with the membrane. They are covered with the membrane, and that structures are called as vacuole. What is your observation? Your observation is some empty spaces are present inside the cell, and they are surrounded with the membrane, and this space are filled with some fluid, and this fluid is called as sap. The fluid which is present is called as sap. So what is the meaning of this? Vacuum. Vacuum is nothing but empty. Vacuole is derived from the word vacuum. Vacuum means empty. So here empty spaces are seen in the cell, and they are surrounded with a membrane, and inside this space filled with a liquid called sap. what this sap contains? This sap contains water, minerals, amino acids, sugars, and salts are present. So these things are present in this liquid content or in this sap. Understood? So once again, sap meaning is the liquid content which is present in vacuole. Inside the vacuole is called sap. So what this sap contains? Water, minerals, amino acids, sugars, and salts. These vacuoles in animal cell, many vacuoles are present. So in animal cells, many vacuoles are present. But in case of plant cell, in the beginning, these many cells, they combine and they form a big one big vacuole. So in animal cells, many small vacuoles are present. So like this, many vacuoles are present. Many small vacuoles are present. Many small vacuoles are present in animal cell. But if you take plant cell, in case of plant cell, these small vacuoles, small vacuoles, they combine together and they make a big size vacuole. So at last they combine together and they make big vacuole and they occupy the center place and they pushes the nucleus to the peripheral region. And these vacuoles, what is the use of this vacuole? These vacuoles, they store food, liquid food, solid food, and they play a different role in different organisms. Functions of this. The vacuoles which store food, store solid food, they are called as the vacuoles which store solid food, they are called as phagosomes. Then the vacuole which store liquid food, liquid materials, they are called as pinosomes. So pinosome. Whereas some vacuoles, they store air, so those are called as gas vacuole. The vacuole which help in excretion, they are called as contractile vacuole. So in 10th class you will study about this contractile vacuole in amoeba, in paramecium. So what happens in amoeba and paramecium? Contractile vacuoles are present. The vacuoles which are present in paramecium and amoeba, their role is different, and the vacuole which is present in plant and animal cell, those function is completely different. See, here in case of plants, they store food, solid and liquid food they'll store. But in case of amoeba and paramecium, they help in excretion. I'll draw the small diagram of paramecium here to make you more clear. So this is the structure of paramecium. These are cilia. So in paramecium, contractile vacuoles are present. So these are contractile vacuoles, these are arms. So like this, structures are present. These are contractile vacuoles. So what is the use of this contractile vacuole? They help in excretion. What is excretion? Removal of waste material from the cell, from the body. So they help in removing the waste material, and they also help in osmoregulation. What is osmoregulation means? Suppose extra water, extra salt which is present in our body, that will be removed. And if our body lacks this water and the salts that will be absorbed. So they maintain the salt and water content in our body. For balancing the water and salt content in body, they help. So two functions will be performed by contractile vacuole. One is removing the waste material. The second thing is maintaining the salts, ions and water in amoeba and paramecium. So a quick recap. Vacuole is derived from the word vacuum, which means empty. Why we are saying empty? Because these are actually empty spaces which are present in the cells, and they are embedded, or we can say they are surrounded. The correct word is surrounded. They are surrounded with a membrane, and inside this space is filled with a liquid content, and this liquid is called as sap. This sap contains amino acids, sugars, then salts. Okay, now these vacuoles in animal cells, many vacuoles are present. In case of plant cell, only one big vacuole is present, because small vacuoles, they get together in a matured plant cell, they become a big in size, and they occupy the central place by pushing the nucleus to the corner. So this is nucleus. They push the nucleus to the corner and they occupy the center space. And what do? They store solid and liquid food. And in some animals, they store air also. And in amoeba and paramecium, they act as a contractile vacuole. That means they help in removing the waste material, that is excretion, and they maintain osmoregulation, means maintaining the balancing the ion, salts and water content in the cell. So this is about vacuole. Let us see, do you know? So in your textbooks, they'll give you, do you know? Here, certain organelles are present in large numbers in the cells. So certain cells will have more number of only few organelles, not all organelles, based on the function they perform. For example, the cells which are help in photosynthesis, they contain 50 to 200 chloroplasts. Cells help in photosynthesis. They help in photosynthesis. What do you mean by photosynthesis? Preparing food. So plants prepare their own food by the process called photosynthesis. So the plant cells which perform photosynthesis or which help in photosynthesis, they contain chloroplast. These dots are nothing but chloroplast. So how many chloroplasts are present? Nearly 50 to 200 chloroplasts are present. So the cells which help in photosynthesis, they contain these many. For example, you take a stem, matured stem. Matured stem, they don't have these many number of chloroplasts because they will not help in photosynthesis. So based on the functions, organelles are present in more in number. For example, chloroplast is a cell organelle, and this organelle is present more in number compared with the other organelles. Like other organelles like mitochondria is there, then endoplasmic reticulums are there, lysosomes are there. They are not present in more in number because this chloroplast is helpful that to perform photosynthesis. That's why they are present in more in number. So in do you know, we came to know that certain organelles are present in large numbers or more in number in the cells based on the function performed by the cell. For example, the cells which help in photosynthesis, they contain more number of chloroplasts. Next topic is, are cells flat? Are cells flat? No. See, this is a box. Example I am giving you. This is a box. If I tell you to draw this box, how you will draw, or if you will draw like this, length, and you will show breadth. So in this way you will draw. So what people will think, this is a flat surface, you will think, but generally it has length, it has breadth, and it also has height. So this is length, this is breadth, and this is height. It has some thickness. So cells are not at all flat, but in the textbooks, and if you observe cells, they look as flat, and they are not at all flat. They are three-dimensional. For example, here if you see the box like this, you can see only length and breadth, only two-dimensional. Two dimensions you are seeing, one is length, one is breadth, and you think that this box is flat. But if you see like this, you can see length, breadth, and height. So this is three-dimensional. This is three-dimensional. So in the same way, cells are also not at all flat structures. They have length, breadth, and they also have thickness. So these are three-dimensional. They are not flat. And if you see under microscope, generally you will see only two-dimensional structures. But what you have to do is, to see three-dimensional picture of a cell, you need to adjust the microscope. So what you have to do, slightly change the focus and reduce the light intensity in microscope. Then definitely you will see. See, this is microscope. You already know this is microscope. So what you have to do, while observing under microscope in a slide, you need to adjust it. Slightly change the focus and reduce the light intensity and try to adjust the things, and then you can see the three-dimensionals. Understood? So remember that cells are not flat because they are not two-dimensional. Not only length and breadth, thickness is also present. That's why cells are not flat, they are three-dimensional structures. They have length, they have breadth, and they also have thickness. In the same way, I have already given you example, this box example. This box looks two-dimensional and it looks flat, but generally is three-dimensional. It has length, breadth, and thickness. Now let us see, where do cells come from? Where do cells come from? Do you know, when a plant is small, when you see this plant is small. Now you see after 1 month, what happens? This plant will increase in height. So its height, thickness, parts will be increased. Why? Because one cell is divided into two cells. One cell is divided into two cells. Two cells are divided into four cells. These four cells are divided into again that it will be increasing. Then the mass of the plant also increases. The length of the plant and thickness of the stem, the size of the leaf also increases. Now, where do these new cells arise? They arise from the old cells. They arise from pre-existing cells. Remember, new cells arise from pre-existing cells. What do you mean by pre-existing? Already present cells. Already present cells are nothing but simply we can say old cells. I mean to say already which is present. So that cells, from that cells, new cells will arise. Here old means not age-wise. So cell is first discovered by Robert Hooke in the bark of a oak tree. Then the living cell is discovered by Antony van Leeuwenhoek. After the discovery, after 200 years, Matthias Jacob Schleiden and Theodor Swan, these two are the scientists, they studied about the cell again and they proposed cell theory. One more scientist, his name is Theodor Swan. Theodor Swan. So he is the scientist. These both are the scientists who formulated cell theory. So Schleiden, he is actually a botanist. Botanist means study of plants. So he is going to study, he studied botany, that is, he studied about plants. So he studied plant cell. Next, he is a zoologist. What do you mean by zoologist? Zoo means animal. So he studied animal cells. So he focused on animal cell. And both these two scientists together, they came to one conclusion that all living things are made up of cell. All living things made up of cell, and they formulated cell theory. After they proposed cell theory, again one more scientist, his name is Rudolf von Virchow. What is his name? Later on, Rudolf von Virchow, he is a scientist. What he said is, new cells arise from pre-existing cells. And he also explained about cell division. New cells will arise from pre-existing cells. So that he said. So after Rudolf von Virchow said about this point, then they have added this point to the cell theory. So let us see now cell theory. So remember 2 points in cell theory. One is all living organisms are made of cell. So this is very important point. So every living things are made up of cells. Plants, animals, human beings, even microorganisms, everything are made up of cells and they are product of cells. Now let us see one more point, one who said by Rudolf von Virchow. What he said, all cells arise from pre-existing cells. So all cells, all new cells arise from pre-existing cells. Means already present cells. So these are the 2 points comes under cell theory, and this is very important. They'll ask you in the exam also. So Robert Hooke, for the first time, he discovered cell. Later on, after 200 years, these two scientists, they studied plant cell and animal cell, and they formulated cell theory, and they said that all living organisms are made up of cells. Later on, Rudolf von Virchow, this scientist, he added one more point. He said that all new cells arise from already present cells. So one point is added under cell theory, that is all cells arise from pre-existing cells. Based on today's topic, 10 multiple choice questions will be given. So you need to learn, see the textbook, read the textbook and write the answers for the multiple choice.